Thank you for your willingness to be a part of our CrossWalks program in the role of shepherd. Shepherds are a crucial part of making our children's morning a safe, comfortable, and loving experience, and we are grateful for your participation in it. So we'd like to give you a tour this morning of what an experience of being a shepherd is like. First, you'll begin in the narthex. When you arrive at church, please come back here and we'll go to what we call the narthex closet, where you'll find all of the supplies you need to be a shepherd. So a shepherd's role is to guide, lead, and occasionally corral a few sheep. Our children appreciate your faithfulness and the opportunity to build a relationship with you as the shepherd. As shepherds, you may be with the same group of children consistently. Unlike the teachers in our classes who teach all of the grades, you work with one age group of children. So you will first be introduced to your flock. You will either have kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth or fifth grade, or a combination of a couple of grades. One of the key things to know is the color that corresponds with your grade. So if you are a kindergarten shepherd, we begin at the bottom of the rainbow. Red is for kindergarten, orange is first grade, second grade is yellow, third grade is green, fourth grade is blue, and fifth grade is violet or purple. You have a bag, a shepherd's bag, and a shepherd's robe that corresponds in color. So on Sunday morning when you arrive, you'll pick up your bag and your robe. You'll put your robe on. These robes are stylish. They have belts. You may choose to wear a belt or no belt. You just throw it on like this, and you're ready to go. Please wear these robes, shepherds, because they help identify you to the children and to the children's parents, and they are easily spotted in the sanctuary. You'll see the importance of that later. So then you find your bag, which has a cross or two on it. This is the kindergarten and first grade bag. And in this bag, you'll find the tools needed for the morning. You will find an attendance sheet, such as this one right here. These run for a period of time. This one just was filled out on February 7th. So you'll check off the children who were there that morning. You'll find your schedule for a period of weeks. All right, so if you're the kindergarten and first grade shepherd, on January 10th, you are in Noah's Art. The next week, you are in New Song Studio. The next week, you are in Temple School. And finally, you are in Martha's Table. So your group rotates from room to room each week to a different place. As shepherds, you are the consistent people with that group of children, and you have the opportunity to get to know the children in a way that the teachers do not. In addition to your schedule and your attendance sheet, you have a list of allergies of all the children in CrossWalks. Make sure that you are familiar with the children in your class and what their allergies are. This will come up when you are particularly in Martha's Table and in the Red Sea Cinema. And then if there is food in any other lesson, you'll need to know this. In addition, there should be some first aid supplies in your bag for emergencies. You should have Band-Aids and rubber gloves. Make sure you use the rubber gloves, please, if you have an emergency. You'll also find extra name tags, our policy manual, and emergency phone numbers should you need them. There are phone numbers and beeper numbers so that you can reach either myself or Joanne Blair or Nancy Quigley. There may be other communications in this bag, so make sure that you check them every week and be familiar with what is in there. At the end of the hour, when you're all done with Sunday school, make sure you return your shepherd's bag and your robe to this location. So we have them next week. So once you have your tools, we move on from here into the sanctuary, where we will gather with the children at the front of the church during the time with Younger Church. Prior to that time, if you'd like to sit with your family, that's perfectly fine, or you may want to sit up toward the front so that you can easily join the children down front when they go up there. It's really helpful to have shepherds come up front and sit on the floor if possible, or maybe in the front row with the kids, with other people, other parents. This helps with crowd control, and then when the children are leaving the sanctuary afterwards to go out to the chapel, it helps a little bit with crowd control of the children running down the aisle. While we encourage them to walk, that doesn't always happen. So after the time with the Younger Church, the younger children will go out this side door with their teachers, and the kindergarten through fifth graders will exit down the center aisle and go to the chapel. You will leave at that time too and meet them in the chapel. They'll sort themselves out in the chapel by grade again. If we have combined classes in a particular rotation, then we will designate that, and it doesn't matter which robe you choose to wear or which bag you choose to pick up that day. You can take either one of the combination of the two. The CrossWalks schedule is listed each week in the bulletin, so you know where you will be that week if you haven't had an opportunity to see a schedule ahead of time. So when the children come close to the chapel here, they'll see a set of name tags hanging over here. We encourage every child to wear a name tag, and there should be one here for all of the children. They're hung alphabetically. They know where their name tags are. Kindergarten name tags are here on the top. We find it easier to clip those onto them than to put them around their necks. And if there's not a name tag for somebody, then please fill out one of these sheets of paper and put it back in here, and we'll make sure that there are name tags for the next week. So once they have their name tags, they will come into the chapel where they'll find the corresponding pew that goes with their color of their particular age group. So our fifth graders will sit on either side of the aisle here in these rows. And our fourth graders will sit in the blue rows, third graders in the green rows, second graders in the yellow rows, first graders in the orange rows, and our kindergartners right up front. When we're in the chapel, we will usually sing a song, talk about the theme for the day, and then divide up and go up to our classrooms. As a shepherd, your role is to lead your sheep to their classrooms. I'll dismiss them by groups, and then you'll lead your children upstairs. And the way we usually go is out of the chapel to the right and up down the hallway up these stairs. If there are children who may need to use the elevator, then you'll have to take a different route, but we'll address that at that time. Okay, so now we'll go the normal route here, and I will show you the way. Once we get upstairs, it's a real temptation for the children to jump up and hit the signs. Hardly anyone can resist that temptation. So comments like, "Thank you for walking so nicely. Thank you for not hitting the signs," go a long way to encouraging the children. Okay. When you arrive at the classroom where you will spend the morning, your first job is to take attendance. So you'll open your bag and find the attendance sheet and check off all of the children in your classroom. Your next job is to participate fully in the class. The teacher has all of the responsibility for lesson planning and carrying out the lesson. Your responsibility is to be the extra hands and feet and to help the children wherever they might need extra help. Sometimes you might have to take a child to the restroom or maybe even remove a child from the classroom. If you ever have a problem, Nancy Quigley and I are rotating up here all of the time to assist you wherever you might need help. In addition to fully participating in the class, there are a couple of other things that you will be expected to do. One is, if the teacher has not taught the memory verse for the rotation, it is posted in each of the rooms. This is the current one that we have just completed, and you can teach the children the memory verse. This is a very simple one and a very easy one to learn. Others are not so easy, and there are many different ways of teaching memory verses. I'm happy to give you some suggestions for that. You will also find them in your Shepherd's bags. There are games to do that. In addition, at the end of the hour, before the children leave, we always say a closing prayer. There is a closing prayer written into the curriculum at the end of each lesson. You'll find it here in the curriculum, and you can lead that, encourage the children to join you in prayer, or you can ask a child if they would like to pray. The Shepherd Guide provides for you extra tips for conversation, for engaging the children in learning about this particular lesson. So there are questions you can ask as they're working on a project in the classroom, or maybe even just moving from place to place. So your job as the shepherd is to fully engage, to get to know the children on a personal basis, and to be there for them on a consistent basis. Okay? Finally, as the children are leaving, you can give them one of these bookmarks. There's a bookmark for each rotation, and it is to place in their Bibles at home to help remind them of the story, where the story is found, and what it's about, along with the memory verse. So when it's time for the children to leave, shepherds, you will remain in the classroom until the parents come to the door and pick up their children. We don't release the children until an adult or a designated adult from the family has picked up the children. If a sibling comes and says, "My mom says it's okay," please don't let them go unless you have made arrangements with the parent ahead of time. While you may be in Noah's Ark one week, you'll be in another room for each week of a rotation. Typically, a rotation is 3 to 4 weeks. So you may be in Noah's Ark, Martha's Table, the Oasis, one rotation, and the next rotation we may use A Joyful Noise, or the Temple School, Parable Place, or the Red Sea Cinema. We try to rotate the rooms so the children have a different experience and learn the stories in different ways each time. Also, things that you may point out to the children from time to time are the murals on the wall and how they correspond with the stories we might be studying. You can point these things out to the children too, and feel free to do that at any time. They are a part of our curriculum in addition to what we teach every week in CrossWalks. We really appreciate the people who are here every week or many weeks and who commit to building relationships with our children. You are the key to teaching about God's faithfulness and love to our children. Thank you for all that you do.